Good evening and welcome to Kenton City Council. It's our 12th regular session. And we'll begin as we always do with roll call.
Joel Althauser.
Present.
Sue Fox-Baroker.
Present.
Lydia Miller.
Present.
Cliff Winiger.
Present.
Chad Miller.
Present.
Peg Wren.
Present.
Doris Bloom.
Present.
Robin Jones.
Here.
John Schwimmer.
Present.
Lynn Webb.
Here.
Cindy Murray.
Here.
All right, thanks, Emma. I'd ask all who are able to please stand. We'll have a prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Almighty God, as the warmth of summer surrounds us and the blessings of this season unfold, we give thanks for the growth, renewal, and abundance you provide. Grant us wisdom this evening as we tend to the needs of our community. Guide our thoughts, steady our words, and bless our efforts with fairness and integrity. May all we do here serve the good of our neighbors and honor your holy name. Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, welcome everyone. Real quick, just Chad, thank you for sitting in for me 2 weeks ago. Apologize, been fighting a few things all spring long, and they kind of came to a head there, and hopefully I'm past that now. So thanks, Chad, for sitting in for me. We have the prior minutes to approve from that meeting. Are there additions or corrections to those minutes as they were written? Hearing none, they'll stand approved as submitted. As far as citizens requesting time to speak, we have no one on the agenda this evening. There will be time to address council at the end of the meeting. However, we do have a gentleman here, Darrell Flowers. And yep, we'll get right to you, Darrell, because I don't want to keep you waiting the whole time. So if you'll go on up to the podium if you would and reintroduce yourself and give us your whole spiel.
I'm Darrell Flowers. I'm the other person running for county commissioner. I worked at Kenton Structural for 31 years until they went out of business, and then I was their ironworker foreman, and I traveled all over Ohio putting up stairways, fixing structural steel, and they're all over the place doing hospitals, schools, whatever they manufacture steel for. I spent the last 5 years, I was going to be working out of the Union Hall, and I ended up being a working foreman for Henry Gersweiler out of Toledo, so I couldn't kick the habit of being a working foreman. So after I retired, I got into township business. I'm a Goshen Township trustee out east of Kenton. I've been doing that for 13 years, and I've been active in the Township Association. I go to all the seminars in January and February that they have, trying to learn all there is that you can, changes that come about as our government keep changing things, and I think we're going to be in for a lot more changes for all governments. We're going to have to figure out how to work better together and as a team, especially in small communities, because they go per capita a lot of times, and when they say that, we lose out. And so I hope to represent everyone that will have me. And so I've been asking the villages, you only see us when it's time for election. Is there any other time that you guys would like to see county commissioners and county officers at your meetings?
I can only, yeah, anytime.
Yeah.
More often than.
And I think it's for a few different reasons, but like Tim Strecker would get here quite often. We always enjoyed that. We'd see Roger from time to time. Anytime that you think, even if it's just to pop in and say, hey, just wanted to catch the meeting, and I think that's great.
I think we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have to be more of a team and working together and stopping in like that, I think it's going to be beneficial for everybody. Yeah, I think we're in for some challenging times from the state at all levels, and it's going to be fun.
And remember, it just doesn't have to be at a council meeting. Remember, Lynn and Cindy are the ones that are here day in and day out. Emma, we get the privilege of being involved a few days a month directly, a lot of stuff on our own, but they're the ones that steer this ship.
And they've
365.
I've been attending the county commissioner meetings, and they address them at least once a month. And
This administration reaches out to the commissioners and works with them better than any I've been involved with.
I would totally agree with that. Yeah, even from I serve on the Health Advisory Board, and beforehand, we had no appointments from the city, and now the city's been stepping up and appointing their 3 people. Yes, totally agree. So I thank you guys for doing that.
If I can make a comment, I know you're making your political spiel, but I just want people to know that Daryl Flowers is probably one of the most serving people in our community. What he does with the Lions Club, I always call him Mr. Dependable because he is always there. Regardless of what event is, he shows up. I'm not saying it as a plug for his thing, but that's who this man is. And I just want to thank you for your service to our county and our community. It's just outstanding, Daryl.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Retirement life, you don't have to sit in the chair. So, yeah, I appreciate that. So, yeah.
Any
more
questions for Daryl? Yeah.
Thank you. Let you get on
Best
the
of luck, Daryl.
Thank you.
Good luck, Daryl. Yeah.
Okay, we will move on then. Communications. Does anyone have any communications to share this evening? All right, no active petitions or no petitions waiting in the wings, so we'll move on to administrative reports. Chief Musser.
I'm just going to put it out there. We're looking at, made my way over with Sergeant Fenwick to Rhodes State the other day to pitch our police department to their class. We're looking at hiring 1 person at the moment. I just updated and reopened our application process on the National Testing Network this morning. So if anybody knows anyone that's interested, it's only 1 person, but we have also, I've just put it out there a little bit to the administration, to the union. We're talking about the possibility of implementing a part-time program for officers. OPATA, the branch of the Attorney General's office that mandates certifications, training, and whatnot, it's seemingly bipolar. They can't decide what they want to do from one year to the next, so they have recently decided that officers that have been out of law enforcement, even for an extended period of time, can go back to OPATA for a brief miniature academy, if you will, and go back into law enforcement. So I'm finding that some officers are doing that. If you've met any of the newer guys at the courthouse, some of them work here, and they retired from here and have gotten back into law enforcement. And like this gentleman was talking about retirement, I think they get out thinking they're going to go fishing every day and then decide maybe they'll get back into law enforcement. So, and on top of that, actually, the academy class we talked to had almost the entire class, with the exception of 1 or 2 cadets, has not yet been hired. So I'm not saying that the tide is shifting just yet, but maybe it is. We're actually seeing applications coming in, and more cadets that are not yet spoken for. So that's a good thing. So that's all I had. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. How about fire, Chief Donnelly?
Just want to give you an update. We're still kind of waiting on word back on the ladder truck and stuff. They're still trying to do some diagnostics on it to see where we need to go with that since it's electrical, it seems like one of those things you got to chase through a lot of layers. And so we're still working on that. Did submit 2 applications today for assistance to firefighter grants. One was for $286,000 to replace our SCBA's, which would be the packs, 2 spare cylinders, and a face piece. So looking at that, and also submitted one for a replacement of the ladder truck itself. So knowing that can be a timely process and stuff to actually get one awarded and stuff, I figured probably need to start the process now. So that one was actually for $2,425,000, which for what we're seeing right now, that's kind of middle of the road pricing and stuff right now, because one of the guys found a ladder truck that's similar to ours. That's for sale right now. It's a 25. It's never actually been in service. It's got 1,100 hours on it, and they're wanting $2.4 million for it. And timelines are still anywhere from approximately 2.5 years to 3.5 years out for actually putting an order in and actually getting it delivered. So that's one of those things where it's just going to be kind of a lengthy process, and so I'm sure prices will still keep going up in the years to come. So I figure might as well try to get it started now. So we leave next Monday to go pick the truck up, so we'll kind of keep the administration advised as to maybe when we'll be getting into town and stuff. That way, if anybody wants to come see it that night or hopefully afternoon, maybe more so or any time after, hopefully Tuesday, that stop down and look at it. So I'm more than willing to show you around. So that's all I got.
Bruce, is there a chance we can somehow get like you and Cindy, Lynn, Doris together and do a little chatting about, we've got to work on those fire contracts.
Okay.
So just
Yep.
sometime in the next week or so here.
Okay.
All right.
Bruce, while you're still up there, how about on the meeting for July 13th? After we have our finance meeting? Finance is from usually 5:30 to 6. What if we schedule coming down and touring the fire department and we can see the new truck?
Okay. Yep.
Then
Good idea. Yeah. All right. Finance can almost just meet down there and talk about the contracts. Let's move on to Public Works. Anything on behalf of Public Works? All right. Economic Development. You want to talk, Holly, at all? Okay. So there you go, Daryl. She just comes and checks up on us once in a while. Make sure we got our ducks in a row. Yeah, just in case. Income tax. There's a report in your packet. Any questions on that? Or any questions for us to find out about income tax? Okay, auditor. Christie, Brad, anything you want to talk about? All right. Treasurer, John.
Nothing, Joe.
Okay, Cindy.
Yep, you got a report from Mike Heilman in your packet, his monthly report. So on the electrical aggregation, everybody should see now on their bills that it now comes from Direct Energy. If you don't see Direct Energy, the orange logo on there, and it's at a rate of 0.0979 per kilowatt hours. Emma will have it posted on the website how to get signed up for Direct Energy, and that is for a 3-year term. As far as the projects go, on the Perry Street sanitary sewer, they're doing the tie-ins, the sanitary tie-ins, and then they will do the trenching, the paving of the streets, and Main Street should be open in 2 weeks. So Street lights should be installed by mid-August. Following that will be the traffic lights here on Main Street. So we're wrapping things up.
That ought to really bring it together.
What about the bells that they were talking about putting on a corner?
I will bring it to our meeting, and I'll explain how they work. I don't have pricing on it, but I do have pictures of them. I'll bring it to our streets, alleys, and sidewalks. But you have to dig down into the sidewalk in order to install these bells, so we may say, I don't know. We can talk about it at the meeting, streets, alleys, and sidewalk meeting.
Cindy, where are we at with Wayne Street? We have to report back on that, or not Wayne Street, Layton Street. I said that earlier. Layton Street Bridge.
I have not heard, I have not got the report back as far as what needs to be fixed.
When do you anticipate that?
I don't know.
Come from the county or the?
No, it comes from the inspectors who are contractors with the ODOT.
Hitting on the same subject, is there any way we could push them a little harder to get that?
I'll ask him when I can have the report, but then we have to fix whatever they find on the report.
Well, I know we do, but that's a
Okay.
pretty vital street there
Okay.
right now. Just saying.
Well, if it has to be replaced, it's going to be closed until it gets
Right,
replaced.
right, but at least we know.
Well, at least we know.
We could tell people,
Yeah.
to let the public know exactly where we're at with it and whatnot. I don't have anything.
Okay. Everybody asked the questions they wanted to?
I got a question on that. Is that bridge still open for foot traffic, or is it closed completely?
Good question.
I go across, I walk across it.
So it's open for pedestrians
Yes.
still? Okay, thank you.
Do you jump up and down at all?
I don't walk across the wooden part, I walk across the street part.
Stay out there.
Okay, then let's move on. Lynn, anything you want to talk about right now?
No, sir.
Okay. Standing committees. Everybody's got their meetings listed that has a meeting coming up. I'll just kind of look toward y'all. I don't think there are. Does any standing committee have a report to give?
I've got a question on the meetings. We are, streets, alleys, and sidewalks, we're meeting, and legislation's meeting this week,
Yeah.
Yes.
On
June 24th.
24th,
I wondered about that too. Okay.
3:30 and 4 o'clock.
On the 24th?
Yeah, that's what I've done. On the,
Well, they got it 29th here.
Well, it says
That's
July.
it's in July.
We just
That's
left
from
off
last.
the June.
That's
Gotcha.
from last.
Okay, so ours is the
Yeah, she
24th.
just checked it.
Ours is this Wednesday.
I'm not paying attention.
Okay, so, yeah, streets, alleys, and sidewalks not only has their June meeting scheduled, they have their July scheduled. All right. So let's go on to individual appointments, regional planning, anything, Doris?
No, we don't meet till next month.
And Parks and Rec?
We did meet, and we had a good meeting. So, first of all, thank you to Emma Whitney. We had longest day of play on Friday, and it went very well. And we had a lot of volunteers, police, fire, BKP, and it was a good turnout. Swim champs will be in July, so the pool issues and the restrooms are all taken care of, new sinks, new toilets in there. Elizabeth's doing a good job with the pool. The weather's, the weather. So you just have to bear with that in mind. At the quarry, they are having some problems with some weeds out there, and I think Lynn was going to talk to Theron maybe about trying to remove some of those close to the bank. And Mike Steyer is building benches for Wharton Park, and those are by donation. He got the lumber at Rut Lumber, and he's building them himself. So thank you to Mike Steyer, and that was about it, really.
It sounded like Mike, the response to Mike for
Yeah.
donors was
Yes.
overwhelming.
Yeah, he's got all the ones that he's committed to so far for the lumber he has taken care of financially.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to Grove Cemetery Board. Anything?
Yeah, we had our meeting we had to change it on the 16th. Things are going pretty well there. The people that they've hired seem to be working out pretty well. Our next meeting I'm still up in the air about yet because both Roger and I will be gone when we normally would be meeting. So I guess they're going to change that to
Yeah.
another day in July. So I will find out that next meeting. They didn't say at the last meeting, I forgot to ask, so.
All right. How about Shade Tree Commission?
We started mapping the city for, possibilities, and there's a scoring, and there's still 3 more days to do this. One is this Wednesday, and we have a meeting Wednesday night at the library, and we have 2 more days we're doing this in July. But we have to have, at least we have the groundwork done, of course. The next thing will be money.
Right. Okay.
And there is no money, so I guess for a while. But it's good to have it in long range, because I think we had it once and it was lost, so we're working on a new one.
Great.
And we have David Doolin, working with us now.
Any questions? Okay, and BKP Ambulance District Board met last Monday night. Pretty straightforward meeting, went through, approved minutes, paid the bills. We did have a report. We did have one of the units that needed a little bit of work. A little background, BKP made the decision several years ago to look more for good used ambulances on the heavier chassis, the Freightliner chassis. I think that was a good move, but we're going to have repairs from time to time. But I think got that one figured out. Didn't impact service in any way. Went through write-offs and heard that some of you had heard me report about this, the baby box, the box where someone could drop off an unwanted child, infant. That will be installed. We're finally getting to the end of the road here. That's going to be installed here in the next month or so at the BKP office, at the BKP location. So don't really have anything else to report, which is probably a good thing. Everything seems to be running well. Any old business we need to talk about?
I feel like I'd ask council to, in all my excitement of my first run at president, leading the council last meeting, I neglected to ask council to excuse Joel from the meeting. We've done that in the past, so I would ask council to consider making a motion to excuse Joel from the previous meeting.
This will be really embarrassing.
Yeah,
no, that's true. I never. So, Sue moved it, and who was the second? Peg. Any discussion? No. No. Any discussion?
How sick was you?
He was pretty sick.
So, all right, then we'll go ahead and have a vote on that.
Sue Fox-Broker.
Yes.
Lydia Miller.
Yes.
Cliff Winiger.
Yes.
Chad Miller.
Yes.
Peg Wren.
Yes.
Doris Bloom.
Yes.
Robin Jones.
Yes.
All right, that passes. Thank you all. Appreciate again, Chad, for filling in. Try not to have that happen too often. Any new business to be discussed? Then let's get right on to ordinances and resolutions. First, I would note a couple changes. One, there is a second reading. You had the rezoning piece of legislation from 2 weeks ago. That's now up for second reading. And then there is an item listed, Resolution 010-26, that was not in your packet, but was laying at your station. I get everything? Okay. So with that, you're up.
Ordinance number 26-015, an ordinance providing for additional appropriations and for transferring funds for the year 2026 for the city of Clinton, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
And I don't know if Christie wants to add anything, but she has a very clear explanation. At least I felt it was pretty clear. Any questions on that? Yes, that is something they would like to have us consider tonight. Any background on the urgency?
Because the loan payment is due a week today.
That's always a good reason.
I honestly didn't think this one was gonna be due until the end of the year, when we did the budget, and the loan itself is not complete yet. So this type of payment, this larger payment, it'll probably go down once we get it finalized. But, yeah, I didn't think so. So that's kind of on me. I apologize for that. And as far as the transfers for Lexipol, the invoice just came in $445 higher than what we had budgeted. And for the incidental line on Waterworks, there has been some training taking place down there, and I think maybe next year we might look into actually putting a training line in, because I think they have to have EPA training a lot, and so that'll free up the incidental line too, but in the interim,
All right.
so.
Any,
Move that we waive the three-read rule for ordinance number 26-015.
Second.
moved by Sue, second by Doris, to waive the 3-read rule. There's no discussion, so we'll go ahead and vote.
Lydia Miller,
Yes.
Cliff Winiger,
Yes.
Chad Miller,
Yes.
Peg Ren,
Yes.
Doris Bloom,
Yes.
Robin Jones.
Yes.
Sue Fox Broker.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Can entertain the motion to,
I so move that we adopt ordinance number 26-015.
thanks Peg,
I'll second that.
second by Robin. Is there any discussion? Okay.
Cliff Winiger,
Yes.
Chad Miller,
Yes.
Peg Ren,
Yes.
Doris Bloom,
Yes.
Robin Jones.
Yes.
Sue Fox Broker,
Yes.
Lydia Miller.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. All right.
Ordinance number 26-016, an ordinance providing for additional appropriations and for transferring funds for the year 2026 for the city of Clinton, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Anything on this one we need to talk about? Or anyone have questions?
So I'll explain this one a little bit. When
Okay.
we did the budget, a large of this is a lot of my mistake. I figured at 80%, not 85% of what the city's portion is, so most of the lines were short. And in addition, we did not include the life insurance premium or the ASME payout and the COBRA payment in with all those insurance things. So this was a learning experience.
We've had a lot of people move coverages too, like from employee to family, which is a huge jump.
Yeah, so when all the insurances, and we figured it, when we did the budget back in July, we figured it based on what they had that year. And then when it went down so much, everybody says, oh, I want back on. So there was a lot of that was going on, so. And then as far as the GIS, we had budgeted, and you'll see this as part of this legislation, we had budgeted $20,000 in water GIS, sewer GIS, and storm GIS. But the cost for Wrestler was higher than that, so we want to do some transfers to get the rest of that money.
I move we adopt ordinance 26016.
I'll second that.
It's only on reading.
It's on a
We're
read.
on the
it's on
first
three reading.
reading.
Emergency.
Oh. It
We're on-
can go 3 reads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
okay.
can go 3 reads, and we're only on the
Okay.
first reading. So, always though, in that first read, like to have someone explain a little bit if we can, so thank Cindy for doing that. Is everybody okay with waiting for 2 weeks and next meeting and reading it a second time?
Are you okay with that, Cindy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, next one up.
Ordinance number 26-017, an ordinance submitting to the electors of the city of Kenton, Ohio, the question of whether a commission shall be chosen to frame a city charter and declaring an emergency.
And I know you had a speaker 2 weeks ago. It was introduced 2 weeks ago. Any questions on that in the interim? And as far as I understand, time-wise, we still have time to read this a third?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, so we did discuss it last meeting that this was before legislation and that legislation voted to bring this back to council. We did have a member of the citizens group that did speak last week. So this is very similar to the previous one, right, John? I mean, we made some amendments to it as far as instead of the 25 registered voters for your petition, we lowered it to 15 to encourage more participation. Last time people felt like there should have been more participation in the commission itself. I would also just reiterate that the commission, this only asks that we form a commission to draft a charter. A lot of the misconception that I see and hear is it's passing a charter. This is just its beginning, its infancy. This is just asking the voters to give 15 peoples from our community the opportunity to write a charter. It would be sent out to everybody that's a registered voter in our community. Everybody would have the opportunity to read. You hear a lot of comments in the community, and I talk to a lot of people as well. I'm sure a lot of people do, that it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that. Nothing's written. All we are asking that we have an opportunity to write it, and then we can debate about what is in that at that point. But this is only for the opportunity to see what the community could come up with to make our government really more efficient and more within the times, as I see it.
Right.
John, do you have anything to add as far as the legislation?
No, the only change, we are requesting the Board of Elections to waive any filing fee. They did not assess one last time, but all we can do is request that. They still have the ability to mandate a fee, but they did not last time, so I suspect we'll be fine. So I put that in there, and then the only other change is the date of the general election. Okay, because you highlighted the most significant change being the number of signatures required to get a petition to be a participant of the Charter Commission. So otherwise, it's pretty much identical. So.
Okay, any other questions or thoughts? All right, what's the next one?
Resolution number 010-26, a resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director of the City of Kenton, Ohio to enter into a professional services agreement for utility mapping and data collection with Wessler Engineering and declaring an emergency.
Cindy?
So this is exactly what it says. This will be our GIS with Wessler Engineering. We thought we could do this on our own, and we cannot do this on our own. So, like I said, we had it budgeted in this fiscal year for that. I'd like you to pass this on emergency so we can get started getting this data collection. We need this for our lead line mapping so that we meet EPA requirements.
So do you want this to go through, Reed?
I see
No,
it.
you'd like to,
I see it says an estimated expense, so
Yes.
do we anticipate that being pretty accurate?
Yes.
I know it kind of has a
Yes.
notion that it's based on other communities.
Fairly accurate.
and there's probably lots of things we'll be able to use this for.
Oh, yes, it'll not only just be water, it'll
Right.
be sewer, it'll be storm, all the hydrants will be on there. In fact, our firefighters were, I don't want to say proud of, they were proud of themselves. They were working with the county mapping to get the hydrants on that, and I said, wait, we're doing that ourselves, and they can collect all the data on valve exercising. We can log where we have breaks. It'll be for asset management in the future. So like if you see that there's breaks on this one line consistently, that's the next line we need to go about fixing. It'll be invaluable. It will really be invaluable. This was one that, when I first came on, Lynn said, we got to get this going.
It's been talked about for years.
And then Cindy, will this be shown on the county GIS incorporated or?
No,
Okay.
it is, it's ArcGIS, which is a nationwide mapping system thing. But yes, no, it won't be on the county map.
I move we waive the three-read rule for the resolution number 010-26.
I'll second.
Thanks, Chad. Thanks, Cliff. Second by Cliff. No discussion on suspension, so we'll go ahead and do that vote.
Chad Miller.
Yes.
Peg Bren.
Yes.
Doris Bloom.
Yes.
Robin Jones.
Yes.
Sue Fox Baroker.
Yes.
Lydia Miller.
Yes.
Cliff Winiger.
Yes.
Okay, you've suspended the rules by a vote of 7-0. Anyone want to move the motion?
I move that we adopt resolution number 010-26.
Thanks, Peg.
Second.
Second by Lydia. Any discussion? All right.
Peg Bren.
Yes.
Doris Bloom.
Yes.
Robin Jones.
Yes.
Sue Fox Baroker.
Yes.
Lydia Miller.
Yes.
Cliff Winiger.
Yes.
Chad Miller.
Yes.
That passes 7-0. Thanks for doing that. I mean, you heard it yourself. You heard an engineer say, we can't do that even though it's an engineering task. And engineers love to do engineering things.
I'd love to go out and do it myself, but.
So that just killed her to say that. Okay, second reading.
Ordinance number 26-013, an ordinance amending and restating Kenton Codified Ordinance, Chapter 1266, and repealing Codified Ordinance, Chapter 1268, relating to the General Industrial District and the Limited Industrial Commercial District in the City of Kenton.
Again, that was read for the first time week or 2 weeks ago. Any questions on that?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to direct this question to Holly. Just, I think to be very clear to people when we talk about especially what we're doing out there. Would you think that that property is extremely too small for a data center? Just so we could go on record.
Right, so I will speak honestly and transparently.
You're good.
Yeah.
As long as you're loud.
Whether, however people feel about what I'm saying, but I am always honest in my dealings, and we are not trying to attract any specific project right now today on any site in Kenton. I work to receive opportunities from the state of Ohio that come across my desk and have properties in my inventory that I can match to those opportunities. We don't, in 6 years, maybe 1 or 2 projects came forward in a different avenue that we went out looking for someone and we made the approach. But typically they are coming to us, and we do not have active opportunities in the pipeline because we do not have properties in our inventory. The work that we're doing, that I appreciate that you're doing with this definition of the zoning terminology, is so that Kenton can have properties that are ready to be developed when the right opportunity comes along. And we use strict criteria. We have to respond to those opportunities. And we don't respond if we don't feel like it's a good fit for the community. But there's nothing actively in the pipeline. We're not doing secret talks or preliminary conversations or trying to court any business. And sure, for a mega scale anything, 56 acres is not what they're looking for. In the opportunities that I receive, I had a large scale ammunition. They wanted 200 acres. That was this week, and there was another one last week that was also for 500 or 1,000 jobs, and they want over 100 acres. So a 56 acre site is not likely going to be looking at a site that small, or, did I say that right? Projects that big are not gonna look at acreage this small. So what our target is that we actively recruit, and I have conversations with Cindy and Lynn about this as well, but we recruit projects that we feel like our population could support, because I'm very aware of the existing employers that we have now. And we don't want to damage the current employers that we have. So, yeah, I don't foresee any data centers in our future.
Just so we're crystal clear on that.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of, people wonder, and I think that's good, that, so hopefully we can publicly draw that line moving forward. Thanks.
And another element of the concerns about any mega project is being able to meet their needs. And that is oftentimes access to a 4-lane highway, water supply, wastewater capacity, and power and natural gas. We're not overly abundant in a lot of those things, not to the scale of a mega project. So we can accommodate, Kenton is well suited to accommodate moderate sized projects. But if a mega project were to try to locate and utilize your utilities, Cindy would be coming to you saying we need to do a major plant expansion at the water plant, the wastewater plant. And that's when City Council has a chance to say yes or no.
Okay. Just so everybody has words to be able to share if you have questions too.
And to simplify it even more, isn't this really addressing some very dated wording
Yeah.
in the zoning? I mean, it was so dated, it
66.
referenced industries that are no longer, not only aren't they around here, they're not, they don't exist.
They're banned.
Yes, so there was some very, very dated language that we caught when this was brought up before that, well, yeah, if I read that, I wouldn't want a property moved to that type of zoning either.
Right.
Well, those industries don't exist, so. Okay, so any other questions on that? Everybody okay with reading that for a third and final time at the next meeting? All right, and I'm right, we have nothing on third reading, right? Okay. So we're to the end of ordinances and resolutions. Any other matters need to be discussed this evening? Comments from the public?
I have one, Joel.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes?
Eats on the Street is going to be July 18th, and we're going to hold it on Columbus Street and Wayne. So it's going to be from Main to Cherry and from Franklin to Carroll on Main, on Columbus and Wayne. July
Oh, wow.
18th, 5 to 10.
That's kind of neat.
Love to see everyone there.
Thanks, Holly.
The big finale.
Yeah. Yep.
Big finale.
Why is it the big finale?
It's the last one.
What was that date again?
Okay. Why is it the last one?
The Kenton Historic Courthouse District Coordinator could speak better to this.
Okay.
However, she is trying to implement the concert series on the courthouse property, and to bring more continual, smaller events rather than the big, labor-intensive one that we've been doing.
And the food trucks are not as uncommon in Kenton as they were used to be
Correct.
7 or 8 years ago.
Correct. That's
Okay,
right. It's
fair
not
enough.
novel.
Good answer. I appreciate that.
She has a couple food trucks at every concert event scheduled
Right.
too, I think.
And just as a plug, I think this Saturday night is 90s and 2000s night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has 2 food trucks.
Do you know what the time is?
6 to 8, I thought, or 5 to 8.
I think it's 6 to
Anyways,
9.
this Saturday night downtown here.
Another way to say it is there are so many things going on in this
Yes.
town from Memorial Day
Yes.
forward, and we're right in the thick of that. It's something very exciting to see because there's just a tremendous amount of things you can do.
I will encourage Jennifer to come and speak to you because she's got some other projects that I think you would be happy to be aware of.
That'd be great, yeah.
We have an
Jennifer
Elton
hasn't
John,
spoken.
Billy Joel
Jennifer
night.
and I have met with legislative, but I
Right.
don't know if she's come and addressed council.
That would be nice, because she's become such a very well-known spokesperson. It'd be good to hear. Okay, comments from the news media. Finally, council members, administration. Brad, anything?
Nope.
Kristen? Chief, either of you, Bruce? Anything you want to add, Daryl?
Lions Club will have a dump tank on the street.
When's Lynn's shift in now?
Well, she hasn't been asked yet. I know a person that has been asked, and he will probably be on the seat. So.
I think 7 p.m.
Oh, you have. Oh, I was looking at Chief Musser.
7 p.m. is prime time, Mayor.
Okay. Sue, and then,
Just have wishing everybody a happy 4th. I will be out of town, so, but my porch, if you want to, well, the porch doesn't get that parade, but it stops at Wayne, doesn't it? So, anyway, maybe the Elks Lawn, and watch it from there.
there you go. Lydia?
Yeah, happy 4th, I won't be here either. I'm far, far away.
Happy 4th, I will be here.
Okay.
I don't have nothing.
All right, okay.
Me neither.
Happy 4th, but there's a lot to do in Kenton, in town, out at the ballpark on 292. Ada kicks off the weekend, I think, on the 27th. That's this- Yeah, that's this, yeah. So Ada has their, what is it, with the Pops with the Symphony Orchestra, Lima, and their, yeah, and their fire trucks and their firework, and then we have a concert here.
Right.
Yeah, at the courthouse, so there is a lot to do. There's so many people that say there's nothing to do here, but there's always a lot to do if you're willing to look for it and enjoy it. Like Friday was a great day to bring your kids out to the longest day of play. There were so many neat things to do, and the people that came out were just like thrilled that we offer so many things. So we just have to keep up the good work.
John? Cindy?
Back on July the 4th, so I know there's a parade in the morning. I know there's a concert, there's bell ringing on the courthouse. And I think they're handing out bells.
Stuff out at the.
Then there's, in the evening, out at the ballpark, there is all kinds of things. There's going to be, I think, inflatables and games, old-fashioned games, and maybe a couple food trucks. And I think they're kind of having a tailgate party out there in anticipation for the fireworks. So, yes, there's a lot to do.
And that's the main viewing area for the fireworks.
Yes,
It
and
has
it's,
been.
and I think it's the largest fireworks that Kenton's had.
That's what yeah.
So, should be a great day. Celebrate America's 250.
All right, Lynn?
Just another shout out to Whitney, Emma, Cindy on longest day of play. Again, you know, it was a holiday and they worked. So again, it's another great example of service from a great team. And I think Emma, one of her favorite days. So it was good. It was good, and I just really proud of them and firefighters and everybody who came out and participated. It was huge. Again, the courthouse is going to be rocking it. I was there the last time, and it's a blast. Bring your lawn chair. It was perfect weather. It's a great setting. I really, 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 really appreciate the commissioners saying yes to all this and just to become a part of, and I can't thank them enough for making that so happen. So here we go.
Just to wrap up real quick. Yes. Oh, good. Emma?
No, I just wanted to say, Whitney and I have thank yous from everybody that helped on Friday. So we had Jason Howe and Chad Thrush were out and helped with fishing in the morning, and then we had Deb and Dawn Purcell did the pickleball. Annie Gammon and the whole Gammon crew was there to do basketball. We had First Methodist Church do sack lunches. Robin Jones was the popsicle lady, yet again. She was with us most of the day. Kenton Fire Department and KPD were both out there. St. John's did dinner, and then just thank you to all the Kenton pool staff. They kind of closed out the night for us. And then, of course, the administration for letting us have a fun day to kind of be with the community and do something outside of the office. So we have a good time doing it every year and just spread the word, try and get everybody out and involved. So thanks, guys.
Your reports were very good. No, very good job of PRing that thing. Just real quick, a couple observations. And it's kind of a follow-up to what Holly and Lynn were talking about. The second and fourth Monday, unless there's a holiday, we're always right here. We try to do, I think, as much to follow sunshine laws the way it should be as we can. In fact, I would say that's a high goal. That door is always open. Every council member, the mayor, every department head, you can find out who they are on the webpage. You can call up here and ask to talk to them. You can go see your council member. Don't be afraid to do that, folks. It's okay. There are going to be things that you might have questions about. There are going to be issues that you might disagree with the way something council might have passed or an initiative from the mayor that the council agrees with. That's okay. That's good. We need to have discussions, active, respectful discussions. But just creating all types of innuendo about what's really behind what everybody's doing and where are the kickbacks coming from and who's getting paid because a data center's coming. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous, and it does not foster any community cohesiveness and advancement. There isn't a person here that will not sit down and talk to anyone about an issue. Yep, there have been issues where it's been divisive, it's gotten a little bit heated, and we try to work on that. And you're going to have that. But it's all right to seek out your elected council member and ask them questions. And if they don't know, they will tell you, I don't know, I will get back to you. So we are always trying to improve those zoning laws. They were outdated. They need work done. That's all that's going on, folks. There's no hidden agendas. There's no corruption. None of that. And if you have questions, you're more than welcome. And the final thing I would say is this. The initiative that regards a charter, yes, it was voted on once before. And yes, there are citizens say, well, we told you no once. That's correct. You went to the ballot, you voted it down. There are other citizens just like you that have come to council and to a couple of the committees and said, we want to look at this again. Not just, remember, your council members are also residents, and so is your mayor. So they're going to have initiatives that they want to bring up as well. And we had a resident here 2 weeks ago that brought up and discussed at length the charter. Both sides are fine. If you're that worried about a charter, have questions, come to council. Seek out your council person. Seek out someone on the citizens committee that's talking about it. But I'll tell you what, a charter does not give you the right to ignore laws. It doesn't give you the right to ignore hiring practices. It doesn't give you the right to treat employees differently. It gives you some flexibility on items that are in the Ohio Revised Code that don't work well with a small town. Different positions. That's all it does. You still have to follow the law. So please, if you have questions, don't be afraid to come to council. Don't be afraid to seek out your elected official and ask them questions. We will meet here again Monday, July 13th. So I guess it is 3 weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until then, we are adjourned.